Montgomery, they're just wrapping up the commemoration of a significant moment in Alabama and U.S. history. Sherry Jackson has taken it all in today, live in Montgomery. Hey, Sherry.
Hey, Jim, we are just down the street from the state capitol. You see it there over my shoulder, and just around the corner from the Rosa Parks Museum. You know, that museum sits on the spot where Rosa Parks was arrested 60 years ago today for refusing to get out of her seat on a bus. That refusal sparked a moment in American history that changed American history. And it's also one of the reasons so many people came here to town to recognize the moment, including presidential hopeful Hillary Clinton. WIAT 42 News reporter Mike McClanahan got a chance to listen to Hillary Clinton just up the street at Dexter Avenue King Memorial Baptist Church. She's trying to make her own history here.
She is, Sherry, and you know, she's highlighting the role that attorneys played. Now, of course, that boycott was ignited by the arrest of Rosa Parks, but it happened after a good deal of planning, and some of the planning was done by attorneys like herself. The National Bar Association organized the event at the church where Dr. King became the spokesperson for the bus boycotts in 1955. 60 years later, former U.S. Secretary of State and Democratic presidential contender Hillary Clinton shared her take on the struggle to end segregation.
It took the courage of so many, and among the most courageous were the lawyers who took on the challenges in the courts and in the streets.
One speaker remarked that police might have thought they were just escorting Rosa Parks to jail, but they were actually turning the 5'3" Sunday school teacher into one of the largest figures in American history. Civil rights attorney Fred Gray praised another unsung hero, 15-year-old Claudette Colvin, who refused to give up her seat on a bus a few months before Rosa Parks. Gray says her courage emboldened others, and without her actions,
there would have been no mass meeting at Hope Street Baptist Church. Dr. Martin Luther King would not have been introduced to the city, the county, the nation, and the world on that date. And the whole civil rights movement may have been different, but for one 15-year-old girl.
Now, the president of the National Bar Association, Benjamin Crump, has represented the families of Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown. And coming up at 6 o'clock, I'll delve into Clinton's take on their stories and what she says they've raised a debate about in America today. Sherry?
And Mike, I know a lot of people wanted to see, did she actually seize that moment? When you wrapped up, we had an opportunity to talk to some of the people who listened to Hillary Clinton, and what they're talking about right now is whether she indeed made her mark in the presidential race.
I greet you on behalf of the National Bar Association.
It was a day of celebration and commemoration. Lawyers from across the country gathered at the Dexter Avenue King Memorial Baptist Church, paying tribute to the people who stood firm during the Montgomery bus boycott.
And I want to give credit where credit is due, to on the 60th anniversary, to talk about the role lawyers played in the civil rights movement.
While it was a day to reflect on the past, it was also a moment to address the present. Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton was a keynote speaker calling for reform in our legal system.
We each need to do the hard work of rebuilding our bonds with one another. This isn't just about strengthening ties between police and citizens.
It was a service the people of Montgomery had been waiting for. It didn't disappoint.
Oh, it was awesome. It's long overdue.
We have been waiting for this for a long time, and I am so glad to be here.
This is the first time I've ever kind of been in a place where there's so many famous people who had such an influence on somewhere that we live, like in the same place, so I got chills.
The marker where the bus stopped for Rosa Parks that day 60 years ago is still a reminder for people in Montgomery. The service reminded people about a powerful message that's still resonating today. Our live team coverage of the 60th commemoration of the Montgomery bus boycott continues, all new at 6 o'clock. We'll bring you a story from the very spot where Rosa Parks was arrested. And we'll show you how students, local students from Alabama, are exporting Alabama's rich civil rights history and putting their mark on the 21st century civil rights movement. That's coming up all new on WIAT 42 News at 6 o'clock. Jen?